All right, welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Footy podcast. We are at the round 12 review. So, going through all the gains from the last round, and the NRL just keeps on giving every single week. It's literally 8 points between first and last place. Anyone can beat anyone in this competition, and it's just keeps going on all year, and it's great to see. It's a really even competition. Yeah, let's get into it because it's an absolutely fantastic round and not just probably because the Tigers had their record victory, but we will get onto that very soon. But let's start with the first game, which was the Panthers and Broncos at Suncorp on Thursday night. Now, obviously, the Broncos were out Adam Reynolds, but look, they still had quite a few of their stars. They put in a good performance, 15-4. Like, that's a decent score. Panthers just are starting to really look like premiership, the defending premiers for the last 2 years. I think a few of their players that have sort of come in to sort of their left edge and their back row to sort of start covering even the hooker Mitch Kenny, Sonny Luke. I think they're all their combinations are starting to really gel, and the Panthers are starting to really look good, and start. I think they're firm back into favourites after this weekend. Yeah, obviously a lot of the players like Nathan Cleary, Jerome Luai, Isaiah Yeo, all Brian To'o, like all just really had a good game just before Origin, just in time for Origin. Um, yeah, Nathan Cleary's just as much as he has a great kicking game, sort of organises his troops around the park. He just his defense, his scramble defense. He's just an all-around player. And what is he now? How old is he? Nathan Cleary. He's still only 25 years, so he's going to get better. He's still going to get better. So that's a little bit scary for the rest of the competition. Can they catch up to him? Who knows? But yeah, just a good, solid victory to get the what the hell? Yeah, get the Panthers back on top of the ladder, I believe. Jeez, all over the shop today, but hey, yeah, Panthers back on top of the ladder. Good win. Yeah. All right, second game. Dragons versus Roosters. Wow. Just the Dragons look really good. Obviously, Hook got given the hook. He was gone. Ryan Carr stepped in first game as the first grade coach as an interim coach. Usual suspects. Benny Hunt, huge game. Um, Jack Bernard brought back in Zach Lomax and Jacob Little. Just absolutely smart move. I think Jacob Little should cement his spot there for the rest of the year. And yeah, Dragons pipped them, just scoring an absolutely fantastic try, set up by, well, Ben Hunt put the first kick in, bat back, Tyrell Sloan another kick, and scored on the full time whistle with the kick to come. Zach Lomax hits it. I mean, it wasn't that hard a kick, but still, Dragons taking the victory. 24-22. Oh, look, the Roosters, they looked better, but I mean, it wasn't like the Dragons played the absolute house down. But, you know, Teddy probably had one of his better games, obviously straight into Origin, New South Wales captain. Yeah, just if there wasn't panic stations for the Roosters last week, I think they're sort of starting to get there now. Like, it's just still just an absolutely just jam-packed, just just absolute superstars across the park. I know they're missing a couple, like Sam Walker got dropped, then he got injured. Joey Manu, he's injured at the moment. Yeah, Victor's just doing some, I don't know. Victor's a good player. I think who knows? Like, after everything he's gone through, why get into a scuffle and lead with your head? Like, the Roosters are only sitting 11th. Like, it's not panic stations now, but you know, if they've got the bye this week, so there's 2 points, but they need to start picking up wins, otherwise they could say goodbye to finals this year, which is shocking, seeing as I absolutely thought that they were going to be win the grand final, at least be in the grand final. The later game on Friday night, another upset. The Rabbitohs were absolutely flying. The Eels getting Mitch Moses back. Wow, just put on just an absolute like strong performance. So they're beating the Rabbitohs, they're beating Penrith, they're beating the Storm, but what the hell is happening to the the Eels in every other game? Like they've got the talent there, they've got a great set of halves, they've got good hookers. Gutho, absolutely fantastic player. Yeah, just sometimes they're just not on. I like it's just it's mind-boggling. That's all I can say. Eels sitting in 13th. They're only 2 points above the bottom of the table. So, in saying that, the Roosters, Titans are only 2 points ahead of that. So, Eels needed to start winning, and maybe this is them. Coming on, they just need to be more consistent if they're going to make the finals. Next game was the Sharks versus the Knights. Um, Look, Taylor went off with another HIA, came back on category two. He's fine. Was just a bit of a weird one, but the Sharks were a bit clinical. I mean, in saying that clinical, they weren't up against a big opponent. They're sitting up in third, just behind the Panthers and the Rabbits. Nico Hines, great. Will Kennedy now, like obviously the game has like so many top line fullbacks. That Will Kennedy is absolutely great player. I heard someone say during the week, little bit of a late bloomer, but if you watch him in a backline move now, he's just got soft hands. Like the way he runs and then just passes, like he's got real good hands, beautiful hands, taking diffusing kicks, bringing it back, strong running. Like Will Kennedy, absolutely great player. I think he's just going to be one of those players that are always like I guess it's kind of like a Dylan Edwards at the moment, really strong, but there's just four other superstar fullbacks in front of you, maybe five if you're counting a Reece Walsh. Um, yeah, like just a great player. Like their middles, their back rowers just sort of played really well. Moylan's been solid all year, without being like great game breaking like a superstar, but he's just been a really good year. I think he's finally starting to be a bit settled at the Sharks now. Um, yeah, 26-6. Look, I yeah, obviously recording this pretty late in the week, so we can see that Kalen's been named at fullback this week, which I think is going to actually help the Knights. I've been saying for like weeks and weeks, like Hastings, Gamble, there's your halves. Like that's going to take that's going to take the Knights forward. So I'm glad that they're finally just taken Kalen out. Like if your star player's not making 25, 26 tackles in a game, having to defend the line, then it's going to give them more energy, more time to like do the game breaking plays that they know they can do. Drop from Origin, like Kalen, like I think we're going to see him play a lot better in the games to come. But yeah, Sharks 26-6, just too strong. All right, getting on to the middle game of Saturday night, and wow, absolutely fantastic. 66-18, Tigers over the Cowboys, and like for me as a Tigers supporter, I think the Cowboys are like that's our biggest rivals. Beat them in the 2005 grand final. Like we always have massive games throughout our history. The Tigers and the Cowboys. Like look at last year, we got absolutely robbed after the siren. The game that we should have won. But putting our record score line on the Cowboys, nothing can make me happier. Luke Brooks's 200th, like everything was done right, just around Brooksy. Like it was beautiful to see. Good to see his mates, Mitch Moses, that he's played with since he was a young fella, like one of his best mates. There to support him. Joshy Reynolds there wearing his Luke Brooks 200. Like this is what football's all about. Like you can have tribalism in your teens, but people play footy, grow up playing footy with their mates. Like you might end up changing teams and playing for another team, but you still have your mates and just showing the support. Like it was Indigenous round, like his family's there. Everything was done perfectly by at Leichhardt by the Tigers. massive score. Brooksy played awesome. Appy played awesome. Stafford Tower in his 50th played the absolute game of his life. The forwards were huge. Stefano's been called in as the 19th man for Origin. David Clement was huge. Fanua Pole. Oh, just he's getting better and better. Tupo. Jareem, the Dream Fuller is absolute superstar. Like I can't. Noffa had a great game. Like everyone had a great game, and like this is what we've been building for. So you're looking at the sort of expansive style football. So let's say this is what the sort of plan that sort of Sheens and Benji Marshall had at the start of the year to sort of that's the sort of style of play. So sort of started, we didn't start too well, we're losing games. So they went back to the basics, back to the fundamentals. It's just like just just take the ball up, one up hits, kick to the corners, get tackled in the corners, just defend, defend, defend. Got back, played fundamentals, won a couple of games, beat the Panthers in the wet doing it, beat the Dragons. Obviously, they didn't work against South, but once they've got the fundamentals right, like it's what's happened now is that they've got the fundamentals right. So we only made like 4 errors in the game or 4 missed tackles or something. Um, just like so now they've got the fundamentals right. I think now they're sort of like, okay, well now we've got that right. We can start we can start sort of passing the ball around, and I'm looking at it now, like 65% possession, 93% completion rate, 93%, just absolutely huge. 13 line breaks, 55 tackle breaks for the team, 248 kick return meters. That's massive. 15 offloads, just 586 kicking meters, only one forced dropout, 88.12% effective tackling. Oh, missed tackles. Sorry, we made 20 missed tackles. So it was only 4 errors for the whole game. Like everything, just it's so good. Like I think, especially for Brooksy, like his 50th, his 100th, like we lost those games. He finally had a decent milestone game, and look, they are looking to re-sign him. Like we're getting, they've gone in for a lot of halfbacks and not getting much back. Obviously, he's probably going to get signed on a cut price deal. Well, I'd saying that he won't be getting $1 million a season, but he's got Isaac Moses as his manager, so he's a bit of a well, probably the most cunning sports agent in rugby league. So he'll get him a decent amount. I'd say he's probably going to end up on about maybe 700,000. He'll be re-signed on. The money that we obviously Joffa's last game, Joffa's on 800,000. Joffa played amazing. It was so good for him to go out on a win. The boys got around that as well. There was just so much to play for. And after this game last year, what was it? The Cowboys, we got booed off. It was after Tommy Rodonigus has passed away. Just there was so much to play for, and the Tigers turned up for it and broke a point scoring record. Oh, just like honestly, beating the Panthers and then this game, like being a Tiger supporter, like I think I'm happy with it. It's a 5-year plan. Like if we don't win any more games this year, like at least we had those two amazing moments. We will win more games, and you know what? We could be on our way to ninth place. So look, I've spent a long time talking about the Tigers game, but absolutely like you're walking around shoulders back as a Tigers supporter. Like can't be happier. 2 points of the bye this week, and then I think we've got the Raiders after that. So look, things are looking up around Tiger Town. So let's move on to the next game anyway. And it was another cracker. It was the Dolphins versus the Storm. Um, look, Storm won. You know, I think it was they were in a bit more control than 24-16, let in a couple of late tries. Obviously, Bellamy wouldn't be happy about that, but I think, you know, I feel like the Storm, like a few of the big teams, like I think it sort of was trying to find their feet with a new combinations and stuff. Like obviously, the back row, like losing a few forwards that went to the Dolphins. There was a bit of competitiveness from Felice Kafusi. Ali Katoa probably had his best game. Like the old Melbourne firm of the forwards that went to Dolphins, like really tried to take it to Storm. Just I thought Bellamy's record against Wayne Bennett was just going to be too much, and it was. A couple of late tries from Masako and Nicarima made it look closer than it was, but yeah, it was a good game, and like there was just seemed to be a bit in it, but yeah, that was a good late Saturday night game. But yeah, Storm are starting to look a lot better. Um, Hughes, Munster, Grant, obviously a couple of boys, well, a few of the players going through to Origin, and a few from the Dolphins as well. Hammer gets back in the Origin team as well, so good for Hammer. All right, on to Sunday's game. Bulldogs, Titans. Another close match. Bulldogs pulling out the win in the last couple of minutes. It was a bit of a back and forth, but yeah, big win for the Dogs. I think they would have been probably down either bottom of the ladder or 16th if they lost. I think 16th. So definitely need that win. Titans, like how can you tip them? Like they're hot, they're cold. It was there was a lot of feeling in that game. Big clash. TPG, Tavita Pangai Jr., Tino, big Tino. They had some clashes. Fafita, like yeah. Kieran Foran played really well. Got a big hit put on him from the Bulldogs rookie number 6, Opalua. Jeez, I always stuff up his name. But anyway, 20 to 18, Dogs need that win. Yeah, Titans. Who knows? And then on to the final match for the round. 42-14. Manly. Three turbos. Turbo, Burbo, Gerbo, all played. Um, Tommy, I literally tipped this. I was sitting there and realized that I tipped. I think I tipped the Raiders on my tipping, and I couldn't get in to change it. I don't know what happened with the app, but I just had this feeling that like it's pre-Origin. Like Tommy just stepped up. So did Jake as well, but then Jake hurt his calf, so he can't play. Yeah, 42-14. Like, where has this been? And obviously they got Schuster back in. I'm still not sold on Schuster, but like, obviously, most halves aren't as big as a bloke that big. Ruben Garrick, I think he had his best game for the season. Ben Condon came on, first touch of the ball, scored in the 79th minute. That's huge. That's fantastic. Um, in a beaten side, Hudson Young played well enough to get himself into Origin. Yeah, just who knows what's going to happen. Next game Manly plays, they're probably going to lose again. Like it's so hard to call. I think they've got the night coming up the nights this week, so maybe Manly will get, but then they're without all the Tavoyevich brothers. Interested to see who they named for the game. We'll get into that and tips later on, but yeah, that's a review of or the wrap of round 12. Once again, fantastic round. Like obviously being a Tiger supporter, like huge, massive. Like oh, absolutely devastated. I wasn't at Leichhardt for that game. The scenes, absolute scenes. But yeah, just this whole draw and how it's sort of working out for this year is just absolutely perfect. Like the NRL, I say it every single week. The NRL has absolutely nailed this. Um, yeah, just fantastic to be a rugby league supporter this year. Just awesome games every single week. Anyone can beat anyone, as I already said. But yeah. Um, so I'll be back on the next video with my tips going into round 13. Shortened round because of Origin. Hopefully getting an Origin podcast up sometime this week. Just running a bit behind with life, but yeah. For people watching my videos, thank you. Stick around and keep on watching. Please click the subscribe button. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. Anyway, say less, footy. Peace out.